not a follow-up directly, but I think one of the potentially interesting research questions also that InHealth could look into is to define value models for high prevalence or high cost disease indications, be it atrial fibrillation, be it other technologies, to create a virtual test bed for any technologies, which also identifies the key value drivers, not just in terms of medical research or medical costs, but in terms of the broader economic implications. And so any new company that is looking at the space or trying to identify the value of new technologies could use this framework, so it would have a multiplied effect as opposed to just looking at one specific technology.
I like that. That's a very interesting idea. Hank.
I wanted to follow up on Bob's comment, because what you were really talking about there was disruptive technology. And I don't know that the industry, I'd raise this question to the panel, can you build a consensus around disruptive technology, or is it always going to be that sort of thing where a small group comes up with a great idea and they run with it, and a lot of change takes place, and to think that there could be consensus on that seems folly?
Yes, I mean, to some degree, we're looking for disruptive technologies in terms of the organization of healthcare delivery mechanisms. And the speaker really talked about the problem is that a hospital is really 3 different kind of delivery mechanisms that are funded in mutually exclusive ways, and that the beauty of these integrated healthcare delivery systems is that they can deal with the multiple personality disorder that they have, whereas a non-integrated delivery system becomes dysfunctional trying to integrate this multiple personality problem. And I think that, to a very large degree, the kinds of innovations that we're talking about really look at new visions of how to do things, and it, is somewhat of a different paradigm. I was in ancient times when I was assistant secretary. I had to testify in front of the Senate Finance Committee, and Senator Rockefeller asked me what value Medicare had. Weren't we just spending a lot of money? And what was the single most important thing that Medicare had accomplished? And this was 16 to 17 years after Medicare came online. And I said, the intraocular lens, cataract surgery. And of course, the ophthalmologist, I think, were ready to, put me in their Hall of Fame at the time. But in essence, he said he was shocked because at that time there were all these scandals about, rapid surgery mills, and you're familiar with that with the issue from what you used to do. And I said, well, it took people who were functionally dependent and made them functionally independent. And we could argue about whether the government paid too much for that or not, but that's really a separate issue. The issue here is that if the pot of gold would not have been at the end of that rainbow, it's not completely clear to me that we ever would have moved as quickly in having the outreach and getting the people that needed that kind of surgery in to do it. And what the ophthalmologists were successful in doing is turning an operation that was, prior to that, fairly complex and lengthy into, literally an in and out 20-minute procedure for which they were handsomely rewarded. And I think we're looking at a similar kind of thing here. We need to, it's very clear that the current model needs to be reshaped, and what we're looking for are people that can figure out how to deliver high quality innovative care in a different price or in a different way, and get it valued by people appropriately. I think, by the way, one of the most interesting things that Peter Newman said in response to my question was, well, maybe people have to get over randomized controlled clinical trials.
Yeah.
Now, whether he would say that in Baltimore or not, I don't know. But that, to me, is a major, major change in thinking that right now doesn't exist.
Thank you, Bob. I do want to kind of just summarize very quickly. I heard two very interesting ideas. Perhaps something to think for us to think about as we might develop one or more of these into a white paper. The concept of virtual test bed for technologies and how we value them, and then the need for a new economic model. I think those are both very intriguing ideas that I hope some of us will pursue going forward. And so I want to thank you all for your time and your participation in this discussion, and invite Martin and Bob to close out the day for us. Thank you.